Good morning. I am Grandmaster Truth, and after many years of study, I have unlocked the secrets of breaking concrete with my bare hands. Witness, and I will show you the secret of precision striking. So, that's a 5-pound weight plate dropped off center, solid piece of concrete from Home Depot. As you can see from my finger, that's 1.5 inch piece of concrete. Not trick breaking concrete like you see them do at the tournaments, but real concrete. So what is the point? If it takes 5 pounds accelerated at 9 and 82 meters per second squared, which is the acceleration of gravity here on Earth, to smash through 1.5 inches of concrete, why do so many professional fighters and karateka claim to be hitting with 800 to 1,200 pounds of force, but they're not killing people on a daily basis? If 5 pounds will smash through 1.5 inches, even 2 inches of concrete, simply from being accelerated at 9 and 82 meters per second squared, at a distance of less than 2 feet, shouldn't that be sufficient to break bones? Yes and no. Yes, when it's accelerated in a straight line with a small surface area of impact. But put a gigantic glove on my hand, you can multiply the force, but the increased surface area will dissipate the impact force. The purpose of striking is to transfer energy. Transfer a small amount of energy into a small area, you still cause a lot of damage. This is the reason why bullets are effective. Consider this. You can take a heavyweight boxer and have him throw the hardest hook punch that they can. And the guy can put his arm up, and guess what? The punch does little to no damage. We've seen this. However, take a bullet. Bullet is the size of the tip of my pinky, literally. Less than 1 ounce of lead, so to speak. But because it is being accelerated, because it has a high velocity, it'll kill you. So why would a person run from a bullet that cannot flex a muscle, but stand and brace against somebody who's hitting with 1,200 pounds of force? The reason is because it's not just how hard you hit, it is how well you strike. And that is the true study of martial arts. Martial arts is not about who's the loudest, who hits the hardest. It is about what is the technique and how well do you execute the technique. Precision striking will always be superior to hard hitting. Always. Because with precision striking, I can do with 5 pounds what you cannot do with 1,200 pounds. So understanding that simple concept, your study should be on 1, your lines, precision of movement. 2, the efficiency of the movement. And 3, minimizing the surface area for which you make contact. If you're going to do push-ups on your knuckles, the purpose of doing push-ups on the knuckles is not to put the flat of the fingers on the floor. The purpose is to put only the first 2 knuckles on the floor. I'll illustrate. So when I'm conditioning my knuckles, yeah, you guys can see that. When I'm conditioning my knuckles, this is what most people do, right? Put my flat of my fist down, and then think I'm on my knuckles. You're not. You have to roll forward so that you only feel the pressure on the knuckles themselves. So when I put my flat down, look at that. The fingers are dirty. Now watch this. Now look. The knuckles are dirty. Fingers are clean. Got a little on there from last time, but that's a rock. But look at the difference. That's where the pressure is applied. That's old school karate training. So if I'm a karateka, my focus is going to be on moving like that plate. Straight line, which is where you see the gyakuzuki, the reverse punch. You also have the vertical punch. I'm studying how to make this hip use the leg to accelerate the hand faster. Why? Because I know that force is mass times acceleration. So I'm trying to increase acceleration. What is acceleration? It is not velocity. It is the change in velocity with respect to time. So, if I move from here, swing my fist, by the time I reach the peak of the arc, which is over here, not where my opponent is, over here, by the time I reach the peak of the arc, I've maxed out my speed. Human beings don't move that fast. So we can reach our top speed very quickly, right? So if I'm going to punch as fast as I can, whoom, bam. Notice, not getting the same impact. Listen to the bag. Nowhere near what I'm getting when I do this. Why? Because here, the distance is shorter, straight line. Because the distance is shorter, I'm still accelerating when I actually make impact. Here, I've maxed out my speed. Unless I do a very tight hook from here, boom, boom. Notice, here, I hook. As opposed to most street fighters, look, now I'm 200 something pounds. It's not a hard hit. Versus I'm here. So the torque in my hip, the rotation of the foot, add extra dimensions of acceleration. Keeping my body tight. Imagine someone spinning, right? If everything is extended, I spin slow. If everything is tight, I spin fast. The reason why I want to do that, I want to still accelerate. You shorten the distance, you continue to accelerate. The more you're accelerating, the more force you're generating. Because physics teaches us force is equal to mass times acceleration. In the demonstration, this plate, 5 pounds, the mass is fixed. Can't change the mass. It's not going to get bigger, smaller, more dense. It's going to stay the same. My hand is the same. I'm not going to be able to change the mass of my hand in a fight. What I can do, change my acceleration. There are 3 gears, we'll say, that dictate my acceleration. 1, pushing off that back leg. That's giving me acceleration. 2, hip rotation. Hip rotation. That's giving me acceleration. 3, elbow extension. Too many people focus on the shoulders, which you can do, but it adds a telegraph to the movement. But arguably, it also adds a lot of extra power. So you have to make that balanced decision. Am I really going to be worried about telegraphing? Or am I going to say, let me here. Look what I'm doing. Push. Push. Notice, stay here, turn, push. So if I want to punch, hand, hip, foot, moving together, not a hard hit, but it sounds hard because I'm using force and my body's moving efficiently, which is what you want. You want efficient movement. What is efficient? Efficient says, what is your input-output ratio? If I put in 100 miles an hour, I'm not going to get out 100 miles an hour because of things like resistance, fatigue, misalignment. just joints. Anywhere you have a joint, you're going to lose a certain amount of energy because the energy, the joint breaks that straight line connection. It's the difference between me trying to pit the bag with this pipe. This pipe is efficient. Why? Whatever happens on this end happens on this end because there's nowhere to lose energy. Where you lose energy is form, which is the foot should have turned, pointed directly toward the bag, and pushed. But right here on my knee, notice where I'm going. I'm not going straight. Part of me is going up. Part of me is going straight. So that means I'm losing some energy at this diagonal angle. When I do a hip rotation, I throw my hip, but the energy is going this way, which means a part is going towards you, but another part is continuing the rotation. These are all physics principles. You can look in the textbook, learn all this stuff for yourself. So I'm not getting 100% when I throw those punches because I'm not 100% being efficient because I have a joint, another joint, another joint, another joint, another pivot point. So every time I hit a pivot point, as it's rotating, part of it is going where I want it to go, another part of it is slightly over rotating. So I need to either A, combine all the pivot points as much as possible to generate as much acceleration as I can to increase that force of impact. Or B, reduce the number of pivot points, like the pipe, and come with a peace. Now I'm using the straight down the pipe method. That's your straight right hand in boxing, right? That's your Gyakuzuki reverse punch in karate. Or I'm going to be trying to connect everything and rely almost exclusively on centripetal force with good hooking overhand where I'm trying to keep my body coordinated. Notice, I don't go hand move, shoulder move, hip move, foot move separately. No, harmony of motion. Everything's connected. Right? So that's all I want to tell you. You don't have to be able to generate 1,000 foot-pounds of force in order to be dangerous. But you do have to know how to strike correctly and efficiently. And the key to that is, 1, acceleration. If I can accelerate high velocity bullet, I'm deadly, no matter how small I am. And if I'm trying to make sure that I'm producing as much force of impact as possible in the shortest amount of time, again, efficiency, maximum result, minimum effort, then I should be able to use less effort to create a massive force. I've seen on the Joe Rogan show, somebody say, well, a back knuckle's not gonna knock nobody out. That's maybe if it's somebody's like grandmother, ha 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 ha. Back knuckles knock motherfuckers out every day. Nobody doubted Bruce Lee when he stood there and goes, wah! And the dude flies all over the place. Oh my gosh, Bruce Lee. Dude's 127 pounds. Force equals mass times acceleration. How the fuck you figure a dude that weighs 127 pounds can knock somebody out with a pimp slap, but a 215-pound good old American weightlifter can't go, yeah! That's a 100-pound heavy bag I just swung with a back fist. I have knocked people out with a back knuckle personally. I've seen my students knock people out with a back knuckle personally. People like to flap their gums because they can't do something. But because somebody else can't do it, doesn't have shit to do with you. You make work for you what you need to work for you. Because once it works, all that internet bullshit is revealed to be exactly what it is. Internet bullshit. Went to another website, YouTube channel. Dude talking about how the roundhouse kick is a powerful kick. But a side kick is really more just a bullshit push move. We see this in MMA all the time. It's just a push move. Bitch, who you talking to? A side kick is a weak push move? Do you know the amount of muscles it takes? And the hip alignment, the foot placement? That's the most complicated kick in martial arts. And if you align it right, it is a guaranteed bone break 100% of the time. But you got all these theorists out there with a cell phone, 100,000, 200,000, 2 million subscribers, talking shit they ain't never done, don't know nothing about, and everybody's falling in line because they're saying things that are controversial, and the minute you say some shit that is counteractive to common sense, all you motherfuckers line up and go, yep, I knew it, I should have never wasted my life studying martial arts and failing. Because now here's a channel that affirms the fact that it doesn't work anyway. No, you want somebody to affirm your laziness. You want somebody to affirm the fact that you are inefficient, you're lazy, you're sitting on your ass doing nothing every goddamn day because you don't practice doing anything, nothing works for you, so you hunt for those channels that confirm that nothing works. So it's not your fault that you're a lazy ass. What it actually is all the things you're being told to do are just wrong. They don't work anyway. So it would have been a waste of your time to go to college, to do some exercises, to practice traditional karate, to learn kung fu, to discipline yourself. That's a waste of time because look, these guys can't really fight. Look, it doesn't work. Look, guess what? Sitting on your lazy ass typing on a fucking keyboard don't work. How about that one? That don't work. Your ass don't work. Get up off your ass, do this shit 1,000 times a day, and at the end of 10 years, knock a motherfucker out with a finger, then go online and give them another finger to let them know that all this bullshit they talking is exactly that. Bullshit. Have a good day, work hard, and if you're on the internet to do nothing more than troll websites, I want you to take a handful of 5 and subtract 4.